Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Bonsoir, tout le monde, et bienvenue. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu, opening the weekly amateur radio exchange group, AREG, for Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. This is week 1566, 1566 weeks that AREG has been on the air consecutively. My name is Chuck, and my station is located in East Hamilton. And this net is on every Wednesday night, starting at 8 p.m. and ending at 10 p.m. local time here on 146.430 megahertz. And since this is a simplex net, not everyone will be able to hear everyone else. And so we also stream the net on YouTube, so people who tune in can hear stations that they cannot hear on the radio. They can hear how their audio sounds on the air and see their signal strength as well as see my station layout. Just type my call into the YouTube search box and you can look for us live tonight or under the title AREG Week 1566. And you can join us there. And finally, we ask that you please try and leave a 1 to 2 second delay between transmissions to allow other stations to break in. And I also have an optional question for this evening, and that is about trains. Have you ever been on a long train ride? I'm not talking from here to Toronto. I'm talking a trip on a train. And how did you like it? So, with that, let's take check ins for this evening's amateur radio exchange group. Please come now.
VA3 AXJ.
Okay, we got one, Rick. VA3 AXJ. Come on in, Rick. How you doing?
No, I'm not doing too bad. A little sore. I think I overdid it today. Pulled all my conditioners out and had to put them on the porch and cover them up and get ready for the cold weather coming. Hopefully it's not going to be too bad this year. Next couple of days, they're going to jack up the truck and put the snow tires on and service the snow blower, and I'll be good to go. Had to go and buy a new pair of boots today. The other ones were leaking, so I bought them. A little expensive, but you got to do what you got to do, Chuck.
Yeah, well, yeah, now's the time, Rick, to go out and get things like that you're going to need because the supply will be much less available to you once the cold weather hits. It's like trying to buy a shovel during a snowstorm. You know what I mean? So it's better to think ahead and be prepared and get what you need ahead of time. So, yeah, and as far as the back is concerned, I myself am just starting to feel some relief from that one spot they worked on there was kind of nagging me. But I don't want to, like you say, aggravate it. So I'm still taking it easy, not being too physically active, but you know, I'm surviving. So until maybe another week or so, I can, start doing things without worrying about aggravating it. So very good then. So have you ever been on a long train ride, Rick?
No, I haven't even been on a train, period.
Ah,
I don't think I even had a chance to get on a train. I've never been, I don't know, not one of my things, I guess. But no, I've never been on a train.
okay. Well, I have many times. Most of them were on via rail in Canada here, and I had one very long trip from Los Angeles, California to Toronto. That's about 4,000 kilometers or 2,500 miles. That was on a double decker train. It had two levels, kind of like the Go trains, but these were for passengers traveling long distance, and so they're different layout than the Go train, but nonetheless they're double decker trains. I thought one thing that was really cool, Rick, was at night after dinner, they had a car where they played a movie. And so every night at the same time after dinner, they would, I forget how they would either project it or somehow they would show a movie and that would pass the time. So that was pretty cool. Plus, you get to move around on a train. It's a lot better than a bus, let me tell you. And I've been on long bus rides too. But, anyways, that's for me. That's my longest trip. And like I said, most of my train rides were done during the decade of the 80s. So, anyways, Rick, anything else?
Yeah, that's about it for now. Yeah, I've been on the boat train, but that's about it for me. I don't know. Never had just haven't never thought about going on a train ride. I've flown a few times, but other than that, no, I haven't been on one.
All right, very good then. Very good. Okay, Rick. Well, we got a good on this day for you a little bit later on there, and for now, we'll break with you. And I want to say hello to Wade of VA3NCA and Michael KI5SBA in Arkansas. Good evening, guys. Hope everything is going well with you. And yeah, let us know. Hopefully, more people will check us out on YouTube. Just put in my call sign in the YouTube search, and that's VA3CJZ. And tonight, our title is AREG Week 1566. So please come and join us there, and you can interact in the chat on the side there. All right, so we'll put you two in the log, Wade and Michael. And let's see if anyone else is out there would like to check in with us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3CJZ.
Victor Alpha 3, Victor Juliet Charlie's.
Cool.
VA3NCA, let's make it official.
Okay. Might as well put Michael in there. KI5 SPA. All right. Got a couple of you in there. We got Victor Alpha 3, Victor Juliet Charlie, Downtown Richard. Come on in. You're blasting tonight.
Oh, of course I got power. Which I did. Anyway, yeah, I thought you. I'm a little late checking in because I had to watch Steve Harvey, the Family Feud. Anyway,
He's funny.
yeah, so I decided to check in. I told you I would. Anyway, there's not much to report here. I'm going to the wound clinic every 2 days, and it's progressing good. I'm getting pats on the back and very good. Keep it up, sort of things. And my legs feel a little bit better because I'm laying down more. But I've also got professional bandages and other antibiotic creams to put on it via the wound clinic on Victoria Avenue. So I'm grateful for that. In fact, tomorrow, after 6 o'clock when the parking is free, I specified that, and they understand why.
Oh, very good. Very good. Yeah, let me tell you, buying medical supplies is not cheap. Uh, if you can find some of that stuff at the dollar store, I highly recommend doing so. Well, like gauze or even band aids. But yeah, if you want to go to a drugstore and look for a first aid kit, you'll pay a small fortune.
Oh, yeah. The stuff that she was putting on, I asked her, is this available to the public? And she said, not really. It's just strictly hospital. I said, well, you got one hell of a first aid kit there. It puts mine to shame. They had the sheets that they cut up, and they can cut in different sizes, whatever. But it's impregnated with 10% iodine, that peridine, or whatever it was. And, man, that stuff works good. And I even made some socks up. I was told to keep my feet clean. And the first time I went there, I saw her clean them off, but she pulled off a couple of those sealing circles for ketchup bottles. and gave me a little bit of a dirty look. But so anyway, I found some socks and I cut the shin shanks off them, so they sort of like fit over like a pair of slippers. But she said it's good enough as long as you keep the bottom of your feet clean. Because you have to keep an eye on that for any spinning or holes or any kind of open cracking or whatever. Anyway, so I'm back on diabetic medicine because I can't afford to do it properly through natural eating. So I'm playing ball with Big Pharma, and I'm also playing ball with the wound clinic because I want my feet back, and I want to be able to walk around without in pain. Maybe I can put the cane away after I lose about 50 pounds.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's like me when the last, no, second last time I had a phone meeting with my diabetic nurse, and she brought up the idea of going back on insulin, and I was not happy. But I decided, you know what? For now, it appears that I'm struggling, and so I'll take the medicine, and it seems to be working. So I just gotta, watch my diet and exercise. Of course, when you exercise more, you're using up some of that fuel, and that's sugar, carbs, and you got to watch out for them low blood sugars, boy. Woo! It's one thing to have high blood sugar, but you can die from low blood sugar much quicker if not treated. So I almost went into shock there the one time. Wow, that was scary. But anyways, Richard, the question of the evening is: have you been on a long train ride?
No, I have never been on a commercial train. The only train ride I've been on was when I was a kid, when I lived at the dead end of Holton Avenue South. I used to, ride the rails for about half a mile and walk home. Train ride, commercial, no. Pleasure traveling city to city, no. Never done. I've never been on a commercial plane neither.
Oh,
It's either been like a bus. I went to Wheeling, West Virginia to see Buck Owens. That's years ago. And as far as planes go, I've only been on Cessna high wings, little puddle jumpers. But
oh, okay.
commercial flight and ground travel, no, never been there.
Oh, okay. So that I'm 2 for 0 tonight. You and downtown Rick uh, both have not done so. Okay, very good, my friend. So whereabouts are you? You're just booming in here.
Well, I decided not to go down to the brewery parking lot or down there at the soccer field, north of Burlington. I'm just outside the house. Maybe I parked in a good
Oh,
place between the picket fence knolls. Maybe I picked it lucky, but that's where I am. I stayed home today, and I was at the. I took the wife to the Dundurn therapy thingy there. I give you a call a few times around 9 o'clock, but I guess you weren't awake.
no. Yeah, yeah. Been having some sleep troubles there. So I tend to get my best sleep in the early morning, and maybe an hour and a half during the evening. But anyways, yeah. Um, if I hear you, I'll come back to you, Richard. Okay, my friend. So you're going to stick around and for the rest of the net.
Oh, I'll stick around. I just put it in first gear 5 watts, so I don't know if I went down to signal any, but I thought I'd do that just to save the car battery because it has to start in the morning.
Yeah, yeah, good idea. No, 5 watts. You're still going. You're full speed over here, full scale. Okay, hang in there, Richard. Save your battery and put it on listen. And we're gonna clear with you, and we'll go to VA3 November Charlie Alpha. Wade out in the West End. Come on in.
Good evening, Chuck, and good evening, all on net. Yeah, I wanted to key up and do this right on RF. So here's my check-in. I'll be listening along for sure for the whole check-ins with Chuck Wednesday AREG. That's always the highlight of the week. And yeah, this is. I haven't had much chance for radio. I got to fix this whole working for a living thing. It's cutting into my hobby time. But anyways, hopefully after we get past the start of fall term, things go back to normal. So looking forward to that at some point. But your question, so I'm not exactly going to break the 0 for 2 here, but the closest thing to a train ride of the type you described is I had gone to a conference in Montreal, and I was going to bring my bike with me, and so I signed up for a Via Rail trip. So that's like 5 or 6 hours, nothing like Los Angeles to Toronto, but more than go train. I was actually lucky I didn't bring the bike though, because when I got there, I realized that the train they had booked me on had no spot for bikes. That whole plan had fallen through, and I guess somebody was looking out for me, because had I brought it, I wouldn't have been able to bring it on board anyways, even though the website, when I bought the ticket, said there was a car in the train for bringing bikes. So, in the end, what I ended up doing was just renting a road bike and riding around Montreal before the conference and after the conference with the McGill club out there in Montreal. So, conference during the day and cycling the Villeneuve track and the Mount Royal Grand Prix road route. So that was a lot of fun, and got me doing something, aside from just work. So that was good. But anyways, that was the train trip that I took that's the longest. Other than that, no, I someday like to do a cross Canada one. That would be really great with those double deckers with the upper deck glass enclosures. That'd be a great trip to take. Maybe someday. Back to you.
Yes. I don't know if we have any double deckers here in Canada, but I did take I took many trains. I took one from Calgary, Alberta, to Vancouver, and it had an observation car, meaning the top was see-through. The roof was see-through. And one early morning, I went in there right when the sun came up, and we just happened to be going through this pass. I forget what it was called, but Wade, there were blue glaciers on either side of the train. I think we had just come out of a tunnel, and man, it was so beautiful. And I mean, just feet away from the side of the train on either side, these super tall blue chunks of ice, and of course, mountains everywhere. It was truly a nice experience. I recommend it to anyone. Really, to go through the Rockies on a train. You don't have to worry about driving, anything like that. And unless there's an avalanche or something, depending on the time of year you go through, you can't do much about it, except maybe, hope that the conductor does the right thing. So, highly recommend that. Hey, listen, going to Montreal is not a short jump. It is, like you said, about 6 hours. And parts of Montreal are very nice, very old, and Quebec City as well. Um, Quebec is, one of the oldest uh, beautiful architectures that I've seen here in Canada. So very good then. Well, thanks for sharing that with us there, Wade. Any radio news to share, or do you have any announcements?
The only thing I can think of right now is for those who are interested. I think we mentioned this on a previous net. Maybe it was even AREG last week. Trying to recall, but anyways, in case folks haven't heard, there are some events going on for the upcoming partial solar eclipse on October. I should have looked up this date. I think it's the 14th. It's around the 14th.
Yes.
And if you look online on RAC's webpage, They describe and they link off to the places that are doing that are having activities. So for RAC's part, they're doing a simulated emergency test. I'm not sure what that involves, but they're having you can sign up for an info session this Friday night to find out what that means. But they also link off to some citizen science groups, hamsci.org and then NASA as well, where you can participate in a few activities that test propagation just before, during, and just after the eclipse passes by. And they'll collect data from that and do some research on it to see what the solar eclipse does to our propagation. There's also they're calling it a festival, but it's kind of like a friendly contest as part of the event as well, and you can get all the information from the hamsci.org website linked via RAC. With that, I'll send it back to you. Chuck, thanks for running the net, and I'm going to listen along for sure and be here for the duration. VA3NCA back in that control.
Okay, very good, Wade. I did read up on that, and it is the 14th, October 14th, for the solar eclipse. And you're right, they want to see how propagation is before, during, and shortly after the event. And so folks that are interested should look that up and then maybe participate in some way or listen. Listening is participating, I guess. So yeah, very good then. Okay, yeah. I had forgotten about that. I'm glad you brought that up, Wade. Thanks. And I want to give a big shout out to VE3 Alpha Papa Tango, Albert, relaxing up at the cottage. Good evening, Albert. Joined us on YouTube there, and he's sitting by the fire. Oh, I'm so jealous. Okay, and Sean, VE3FNI. Good evening, Sean, and welcome. Okay, so with that, let's see if there's any other check-ins for this evening's Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu. Please come now.
VA3 OYL.
Okay, I've got VA3 OYL, Deb, also in the West End. Good evening, Deb. Come on in.
Good evening, Chuck. I come in just before Wade. I don't know if you heard me before. I was just trying out a different microphone, so I guess it didn't work.
I did not copy you, so I'm guessing not. Do you want to switch it back over now and give it a try, and we'll let you know for sure if it's working or not.
Yeah, I can do that. Hold on here. I'll switch it right now.
All right, very good. And by the way, tonight, as always, we've got On This Day, and it's a pretty good one, as they are most weeks. So let's see if Debbie is ready to transmit again. Great signal, no audio. So there's your answer. I thought I heard someone throwing a carrier earlier, but I wasn't looking at the screen, and so there's no audio with that carrier. Very good then. So now I know it was you, and now you know there's no audio, but there is signal.
Is this one working now?
Yes, ma'am. Working just fine.
Okay. The other microphone is my old Yaesu MD100. And I knew there was a problem with it, and I kind of put it off to the side, and it's been so long since I looked at it, I forgot what the problem was. So I guess it keys up the radio, but That's about all it does. And I looked at it and I couldn't see any wires off, so there must be something wrong in the base.
Yeah. There's an audio wire that's not connected or something.
Yeah. Oh well. It can go back on the shelf for a while. Let's see, what have I been up to this week? Oh, I've been busy getting ready. I have a wedding to go to on Friday. A friend's daughter is getting married, and it's the first wedding I've been to in, many years. So it'll be kind of exciting.
Yeah. Geez, I can't remember the last time I went to a wedding. Yeah, it's been also many years for me. Well, right on. There's something different to go and do and socialize. Yeah.
Yep, a good reason to get all dressed up uh, instead of wearing my dog walking clothes. And to answer your question of the week, no, I haven't been on a long train ride. I have been on a train. I've been many trips back and forth to Ottawa and once or twice to Montreal. And that's it for me.
All right. Well, you're in the same boat as the other fella, Wade. So Montreal, yeah, that's a bit of a ride. It's not overnight though, but that's quite the experience. But okay, very good then. I guess I'm the only one who's done uh, long distance, like I mentioned previously. There, Calgary to Vancouver, Los Angeles to Toronto. And I've done, Winnipeg to Toronto and Toronto to Winnipeg and all over the place. So yeah, that was back when Via Rail wasn't too expensive, and they were, it was very quite comfortable back when you could smoke on a train, and then once they started cutting that out, yeah, ridership went down for a while. I think they were hurting.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I did first class once, and that was fun. That was a treat. That was just from Ottawa to
Oh yeah.
Kingston, I think, and that was fun. And the meal was good. Um, yeah, I'm sure the no smoking affected a lot of businesses at first until people realized, oh, okay, this is the way it's going to be. So I want to still do what I've been doing, so I'm going to go back and do it.
Yeah. Well, everything needs adjusting to. Whenever you do something new like that, it takes a while, and uh, with, when there's no going back. I mean, sure, people get upset and uh, don't like it, but eventually, unless you can change the legislation, you're stuck with it, right? So a lot of people had to make adjustments, and I know for a fact Via Rail was hurting one time. I think they even shut down passenger service and whatnot there. So, uh, but I just hope they keep it. I mean, they got rid of the Greyhound buses. I remember that. Greyhound station in Toronto. I wonder what's there now.
I'm sure there are other buses out of there. I've seen other companies around Hamilton here. I can't remember the name of them, but so I'm sure little regional buses have picked up the slack.
Oh yeah. It was just sad. I grew up with Greyhound, and for them to close up shop in Toronto, there in Canada, was big blow. kind of like when they shut down all the Kmart's, A&P stores. They're big out west, still A&P, Safeway, but yeah, changes. Okay, Deb. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, and I know you'll be in and out because of your pooch and whatnot. So I trust you'll be hanging around tonight.
Yep, I'll be here.
Okay, very good then. So we'll break with Victor Alpha 3, Oscar Yankee Lima, and see who else is out there would like to join us here on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. This is VA3 CJZ. Looking for check-ins. Please come now.
Victor Echo 3, Tango Tango Oscar.
Victor Echo 3, Tango Tango Oscar. Gary, come on in. You're sounding good tonight. How are you?
Not bad. You just walked over somebody there, too.
Okay, that other station, please come now.
I think it was KCI.
Oh, yeah, there could be. Gary, you're closer to that gentleman than I am. I cannot hear him. If you could relay for me, if that is VE3KCI, please say hello.
V3KCI, V322. Is that you trying to check in? Okay, Roger there. Yeah, he's trying to check in there. Do you want me to pass a message?
Yeah, please tell him we'll put him in the log and see if he has any traffic for the net. Unfortunately, my usual relay for him is in Paris right now, and that would be Victor Alpha 3, Indy Mike Whiskey, Mac. But he's in Paris. So if you don't mind doing a quick relay for us, Gary, it would be greatly appreciated. I have always seemed to have trouble hearing Art. That's his name, Art. And some nights he comes in, and most of the time he doesn't. So please tell him hello and see if he has anything for the net.
Yeah, Bart, do you have anything for the net there? He's just asked you to relay through me because he can't hear you.
Yeah, no copy.
Okay, Roger on that. Okay, just checking in. That's no traffic there.
Okay, Gary. Well, thank you very much for relaying for us. Maybe Rick BK will come in a little bit later and chit chat with Art there. I know it's a little bit difficult for us, but thank you for the relay. So we've got VE3 KCI in the log as well. So, Gary, tell us how things are going there. Do you have any announcements?
The only announcement is the Amateur Radio Club is Hampton Amateur Radio Club having their flea market there, and all the tables are sold out, so that's a good thing. That means that there's going to be a good crowd there.
Yeah, last I heard, 71 tables were reserved. I don't know how many there are, 75 maybe, but that's quite a bit. And there's no tailgating. It'll all be an indoor event, as far as I've heard, and that's September 30th at the Ancaster Fairgrounds. I think the admission is $5 to get in. I'm not sure.
I think it is. I think that's correct there. And anyway, it's interesting. The tables were all sold up fast there. That means that everybody's interested in doing something. Anyway, I was involved with Terry Fox run on last Sunday there, so that went off well. I heard a statistic that 80% of the cancers during that era are now curable, and they're curing them, and so that's good.
Absolutely. I remember when I was first traveling out west in a big truck with another fella, and he stopped near the Terry Fox Memorial out in Thunder Bay. It's at a superb location, Gary. I don't know if you've ever been there, but there's a statue of Terry Fox overlooking the Sleeping Giant. Now, the Sleeping Giant is an island right across from the Thunder Bay, and it looks like a person laying down. It looks like a native chief of some sort. So they call him the Sleeping Giant. And Terry Fox there, we paid our respects going through there in the 80s. That wasn't too long after Terry Fox passed away. So very good then. So that went off well, did it?
It went off well, and I've been up at the Thunder Bay there, and I have relatives up there. So what we did when we went up there, we flew the kids up, and wife and I drove up. So anyway, that was fun. But I know what you mean by the Sleeping Giant there in the Terry Fox Memorial there.
Yeah, very good, very good. So I'm not the only one who's traveled a bit. Very good then. Okay, so let's see now. What else? I listened in on the Hurricane Net on the weekend, and thankfully, the hurricane turned into just a strong storm. Of course, there was flooding, power outages, and trees that were down, but I don't think there was any fatalities or any major damage. So that's good.
Yeah, they were really good there. V1JSO lives in Digby, Nova Scotia, and he reported no real damage, just a lot of rain, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing there. So anyway, it should be interesting.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. That was the first time that I had listened in and actually heard traffic on the 20 meter 14325, and I was able to hear this one gentleman. He was in the middle of Ontario. What was this called? VE3MXJ, I think it was, and he was relaying for the Hurricane Net, and it was interesting, but like I said, there no major damage, so that turned out well. Hopefully. Hurricane season isn't too bad this year. They're talking about El Nino affecting our winter, which means that we'll have a warmer winter, I do believe.
Well, I was going to do the oil change on my snowblower on Friday. I don't have to do it?
Well, you may need it once, right? But that one time might be a kicker, so it's better to have your equipment in order, I would think.
Okay, there. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do on Friday there. I'm going to change the oil on that there and grease the grease nipples on it and all that stuff. So, yeah, get it ready just in case. Well,
that's like me, Gary. I bought a brand new snowblower one year, and I don't know if I even used it. I think I used it once that winter, and it was only for a couple of inches. It wasn't much. So we had a really, really mild winter that year. Of course, brand new snow thrower.
Yeah, roger there. Anyway, thank you for being there this evening there, and I do have the Procom Net back on the air on Thursdays at 2000, and so anyway, we'll be on that. So things are happening.
All right. Very good. Very good. Okay. Well, thanks for checking in, Gary. It's my pleasure to do the net as always. And, I just take the check-ins here. You guys are what makes the net interesting. So thanks again, Gary, and we'll talk to you again soon.
73, and thanks for being here tonight. V3 TTO out.
Okay. Very good. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Bill, VE3IUK, India United Kilowatt, for joining us on the YouTube stream. And for those of you who aren't aware, if you can't hear people because this is a Simplex Net. Not everyone can hear everyone else. So we stream the net on YouTube, and you can join us live there by typing in my call sign in the YouTube search. And again, that's VA3CJZ. And tonight we're under the title AREG Week 1566. So you can join us there and you can hear what I can hear. And also, I see that Wade said he can hear Art. And so, Art, if you can hear me, when we get back around, I'll have Wade do a relay. And he'll be able to let us know what you've got to say there, okay? So until then, let's see if there's anyone else out there who'd like to check in with us on the Amateur Radio Exchange Group net. This is VA3CJZ. Please come now.
Victor Alpha 3, Tango Hotel X-ray. John, Hammer.
VE3FNI.
Okay, I'm not sure if I got the first call, VE3 Tango Hotel X-ray and VE3FNI. So let's go to Tango Hotel X-ray. Is that VE3 or VA3, John?
Victor Alpha 3.
Okay, that's why it's coming up Peter. All right, then. Very good. Come on in. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. Not too bad, actually. A little homework from work I had to complete there. Took a little longer than I was hoping with, but got it done. And yeah, just come out to the Radio Shack, scanning around, just thought I'd check in. The UHF bands are open a bit. I'm getting all kinds of signals from all over the place. I don't usually get them here. There must be a different band open. So, yeah, nothing else to really report. Listening along.
Oh, very good. Well, that must mean then that since the bands are opening up, everybody's hunting down POTA contacts at the moment there. It's at 8 p.m. It becomes a new day, so all the guys are probably getting all the check-ins they can. I noticed, well, there's no terrestrial data, solar terrestrial data on QRZ right now. I just went to the page and it's showing blank for information, but it did show that the conditions were improving and plenty of sunspots, and the solar flux index was around 156 or so, and conditions are probably good. It wasn't that great for the last few days, so the evening time tends to pick up.
Yeah,
All right, John. Well, we got a little bit of bacon coming in there with you, but overall, good signal. And thanks for checking in. Do you have anything else for us?
Nope. Just appreciate you guys being there every week. And thanks for what you do. You do a good job. It's a pleasure hearing being a tree teacher.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you very much, John. I do appreciate it. And so we'll break with Victor Alpha 3 Tango Hotel X-ray. By the way, you were giving me a signal S5, S6 here at the Center Mall in East Hamilton. So very good. And let's see if Sean can hear me now. Victor Echo 3 Fox November India. Do you want to try coming in again?
That's a big negative there, Chuck. I'm hearing you through YouTube and compensating for the time delay. The
E3 I kind of thought so. But okay, well, you're giving me an S6, Sean, flickering to S7. A little bit of noise in there, of course, with you. But thanks for checking in. I hope everything is okay with you. And we'll give you a couple of seconds to to reply to us on the air and see if you have anything else, any traffic for us.
Thanks there, Chuck. I'm going to try to maybe make or build a drone that could drive my antenna up really, really high so I can reach you from Mississauga.
Yeah, very good. Hey, listen, it's been done before. Huey did that, I think, with Kevin VA3NE, and took his wire up. I don't know how high, but 100 feet or so, and it worked. The only thing is, the battery doesn't last that long in those drones, but it's doable. Maybe get a hot air balloon. There you go. All right. Well, thanks again, Sean, for checking in both on YouTube and through the radio. And so have a great rest of the evening, my friend. And you are added to the log. And so let's see. Is that the end of my list here? Yes, it is. Let's see if there's anyone else out there waiting to check in with us here on the AREG Net, the Amateur Radio Exchange Group. Please come now.
VE3LBI.
Okay, VE3LBI. Larry, come on in.
Yep, thanks, Chuck. I just got here. Actually, I was chasing a skunk out of the backyard, but seems to have left. Doesn't like to get wet.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Larry. We have a skunk that comes through almost every evening. My motion light comes on, and then the backyard camera catches it waddling through the yard. Dum de dum de dum. Thank God it doesn't smell like anything. And so, yeah, we have raccoons. We've got skunk. Crazy.
Yeah, well, I just wanted it out of the backyard, so hopefully it's gone. I got the hose out and gave it a good washing. So I don't think I washed any of the white off, but anyways, it got a good wash. I'm not sure. Do you have anything going on this week?
Well, I did have an optional question for everyone this evening, and that is train rides. Have you ever been on a long trip on a train? I'm not talking from here to Toronto. I'm talking longer than that. A couple of people have done from here to or Toronto to Montreal or Ottawa, but I myself, my longest trip was from Los Angeles to Toronto with a stopover in Chicago, and that's where they switched trains over from an American train to the Via train and took us all the way into Toronto from Chicago. So that was a 3-day event. It was actually not bad because the person sitting next to me was obesely large, and so I didn't spend any time in my own seat. I was always somewhere else on the train. Can you imagine being stuck on a bus with someone huge sardining you for a long trip? Oh, I've done that on a bus too. It's terrible. But anyways, yeah, train trips. Have you ever been on any?
Well, it could be worse than a Volkswagen. Yeah, we went from Hamilton here to Nova Scotia.
Ah,
It was a very, very casual train ride. Actually, it was 2 nights. We had berth, so we had a place to sleep in our own room to sleep in. But it was quite interesting. Kind of really enjoyed it. The fellow, I can't what you. I'm not sure what he would be called, but anyways, he's not a steward. I don't think. Maybe he is. He would obviously there's a club car, so you could sit and have your beer or whatever, and then you could smoke in there. And of course, no glasses are allowed, but that's all bottles they have, so they have to pour it in a plastic cup just in case the train had to make a stop, right? And it would get damaged. But we had got from Montreal on the way down. And back then I was a 50 drinker, and I asked for a bottle of 50, and I had it, and then they ran out. On the way down, like I say, it was a very casual trip because we actually stopped on the side of the St. Lawrence and we were able to look across at the castle and the lights and everything. They actually had a cab driver bring another case of 50 to the train because they didn't have more 50 left, and they knew I was a 50 drinker. So it was kind of interesting, and it was a 2-night trip. We got into Nova Scotia, and one fella was retiring from the train. That was his last trip. He was actually heading to Nova Scotia, back to his house to retire. He had been many years on the train.
Wow, that's outstanding. East Coast, eh? Yeah, I've never taken the train past Montreal, I'd say. That's interesting. And so they called in another case of beer by taxi. That's funny. I do know that they restock when they stop at a larger city or whatnot. You know, sometimes it doesn't have to be a big city. They just have a schedule resupply spot, right? And they stop there and reload. By the way, VE3FNI wants me to relay his a hello to you. He's on YouTube right now. He cannot hear me, but I can hear him when he keys up. But unfortunately, he can't hear me. So he says he just looked into a trip from Toronto to Vancouver, and he says the cost is 25 grand. That's a crazy amount, and it's a 2-week trip. Oh my God, that's long.
It's probably one of those sightseeing tours. That's like when we were going down there. When they actually stopped and the cab driver brought the beer to the train, it was at a railway crossing. So we kind of stopped at it, and that's when they picked up the case of beer. It was like I say, it was quite a trip. I mean, we had breakfast and lunch and supper and all the rest of it. Like I say, we had a berth though. So and then we got into the other interesting part was the next day when we got up. Of course, you go down the club car and you want to have a beer or something. So it's like say 12 o'clock. And we'd be in one province. So we'd have our beer, and we'd be moving into the next province. The beer would have to come off the table because their liquor laws didn't open up until 1 o'clock. And you get to the next province, and it was 11:30. So it was quite interesting, the trip.
Yeah. I've gone through that as well. As you go through the prairie provinces and the time changes. Nope, sorry, bar's not open yet. So, but yeah, we've never called it the club car. We always called it the bar car because let's face it, people go in there to drink.
Yeah, I know we call it the club car, but like I say, it was quite an interesting trip. We had a good time. We actually met my mom and dad down there. They had driven down and had a cottage just on the right on the lake there, right on the not the lake, but the ocean. And it was quite a nice trip. And we were very young at the time. We were probably just first newly married, so many years ago for now. So other than that, what else has happened? I hit my 4,000 parks this week for hunting.
Wow!
And the conditions are decent tomorrow. Dave and I are going to go activate Eramosa, which is Victor Echo 5361 tomorrow afternoon. So hopefully the conditions will be decent. We can do it.
Okay, very good then, Larry. So we'll listen for you before you take off or whatever, and try and give you some points there. And so yeah, conditions have improved quite a bit there today and this evening. I'm sure they're hopping right now. How are the POTA contacts there?
They've actually come up quite well. They're pretty strong now. So got a K3, an SFI at 166, and sunspots of 143 right now. So it's pretty good conditions. And the only other thing I got this week is I got my Prowler Award, which is actually 15 parks with 100 contacts in each of the 15 parks. So that was kind of another bonus I got this week too. So it all cut together.
All right, very good. Well, congratulations, Larry. That is outstanding. Let's see now. I just recently got, what did I get? Not much. I've got my 300 late shift, just past the 300 late shift, and I'm approaching 500 parks. So slowly, we're getting them, and so it's not uh, a very important to me to get as many as possible. I just slow and steady. So, anyways, Sean is saying 7-3, and says thanks for the relay. He just wanted to say me to say hello to you from him.
Yep, okay, no problem. All right, VE3 out of 5, VE3LBI. 7-3 there, Sean. Take care. Maybe we'll pick you up on Friday night on the ZOE reg too if you got the time there at 8 o'clock.
Okay, very good, Larry. Thank you for sharing that with us, and we'll get it back around to you soon. So let's see if we can get check-in number 12 this evening. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu. My name is Chuck, and I'm located in East Hamilton, and we're looking for check-ins. Please come now.
388P.
Hey, there's somebody with his radio that works on 2 meters. You never got that ICOM fix there, Kevin?
No, geez, I got to phone and make arrangements to get it out there and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, very good. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, and they can fix it up lickety-split and get the radio back to you.
Yeah, hopefully. Actually, I'm going to send don't tell Garnet, but I'm sending off an email to Lady ICOM to see if it's, if she knows what the problem may be. Not that she's a tech, but she deals with ICOM, so she might have heard something about it. So we'll see first there, and then once I get an answer from her, I'll ship it out to, or I'll take it out.
Okay, very good then. Yeah, let us know what kind of reply you get. And speaking of Garnett, have you heard from him recently, or Larry LBI there? Have you guys heard from him?
I talked to him today. Yes, today I talked to him.
Oh, you're on calling terms. Okay, so yeah, you spoke to him there. So he's at his location and all settled in.
Yep, I'm not sure if somebody else trying to get in there or not. Chuck too. There was somebody keyed up, I think. Yes, he's actually there until Friday, and he will be on his return trip on Friday, coming back home. I think the one day he did about 23 hours straight. He was really behind when he left on the Friday, so it must have been Friday. Yeah, he did about 23 hours straight. I don't know how he can do it, but he did it.
Yeah. Okay, stand by 1 second. Was there a comment or check-in? Please come now. No, guess not. So he's not coming home this Friday. He's coming home next Friday?
No, he leaves this Friday coming up. 2 days. Wow. He's on his way back home. He only went down there. I thought he was going for 3 weeks. Okay, like a week down, stay a week, come back a week. No, he's only went for 2. So he got there on, did he get there Monday? Monday he got there, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and he will be leaving this Friday coming to head back home.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a short trip. He's only going to be there for, 4 days?
Yeah, I know. But I thought he was actually staying in a whole week there, but he's not. No, he's heading back on Friday to come back home. So, yeah, real short. Anyways, that's it. I did talk to him, and I'll probably end up talking to him tomorrow. And then probably, sometimes I call him. He says, give me a call, just make sure I'm awake when he's driving. So I'll call him just to make sure he is awake.
Okay. Yeah, now that I think of it, Larry, he did say it was 3 weeks. I'm pretty sure he said that. So something must have come up to cut his time short. But in any case, as long as he's okay, that's all that matters. All right, Larry. Well, thanks for sharing that with us there. And let's go back over to VE3KKP. You got anything new and exciting to announce there, Kevin?
No, nothing new and exciting there. I knew something was wrong with Larry. I just couldn't pinpoint it. But now I know what it is. He drinks 50.
What is it?
He drinks 50.
Oh, that's hilarious. Hey, listen, that was the beer my whole family drank, like on my mother's side. All the relatives, that's all they drank was 50.
Yeah, my dad did too, drank 50. Then he smoked Cameo, so he couldn't even steal a beer or a cigarette.
Comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, but Kevin, don't forget, back in those days, it was only 2 beers, 50 and blue. Oh, and sorry, 3, X.
Yeah, blue's okay.
Yeah, 50 was 50 blue and X. That's about it. It wasn't all these. Well, I won't say what they are today, but anyways, you know what I'm talking about. All these little varieties they have out there now with the little juices in them, make them sweet and all the rest of it.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Anyways, turn it back over to Kevin there, Chuck.
Yeah, very good then. So, Kevin, are you planning on being able to go to a park soon?
Hopefully soon. Hopefully, yeah. Those things are getting better. I just got to wean off this other thing one more time now and see. It's just trial and error. Like
That's
they got
right, Albert.
The other medication, but they give me the new medication while I was weaning off another one, and once I got down to a certain point, everything went backwards again. So they upped the dosage of the new medicine and up the dosage of the other medicine, and I got to wean off it again now. And so once I hit that magic point, I'll know if the other stuff's strong enough. So anyway, it's just trial and error.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I hope you can get past those hurdles quickly. And by the way, Albert is on YouTube and he's saying that don't forget Red Cap beer. That's old school beer too.
Yeah, I'm on.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, my grandparents' cottage, right at the entrance of the door, there was a clock. I think it was a Red Cap clock. Oh boy, the vintage stuff they had there. If only they were around today with that stuff, it'd be worth money. All right, very good then, Kevin. Thanks for checking in. I do appreciate it and sharing with us. Anything else?
Well, that's everything. Back to you, Chuck.
All right, very good then. So we'll try and do another quick round. It is 9:03 p.m. And before we go to the top of the list, do we have any other check-ins for this evening's AREG net? This is VA3 CJZ. Please come now. All right, so let's go to the top of the list before we go to On This Day in History. And we'll start off with Rick, Downtown Rick, VA3 AXJ. You still there, buddy?
Yeah, and don't forget, okay, that's 50. That was the first beer I ever drank. Then it was IPA. Then it was Red Cap. And then I can't remember after that. I ended up sticking with Coors Light after that, but I haven't drank probably now in about 10 years. Yeah, IPA. That was the most disgusting beer that I think they ever made.
What was that one that had a black horse as a logo?
Oh, I can't remember. Oh, God, that's before my time, probably.
Yeah, that's the one that was hanging over my grandfather's cottage doorway. Geez, I can't remember. Red Label? I think, I don't know. Black Label. Who knows? Anyways. Interest. That was good, Albert, by the way. VE3 APT. And poor Michael, KI5 SVA, is telling us that liquor is still restricted here in his county, you're not allowed to buy on Sunday. You still have to travel 100 miles to buy it. I remember when I played the fair in Mobile, Alabama, not too far from where you are there, Michael. And on Saturday night at 2 a.m., if you went into a Circle K, the refrigerator doors for the beer were locked. The one next to it with the milk and pop, well, that was unlocked. But starting at 2 a.m. on Saturday morning, I guess, or Sunday morning, it was dry. That county was dry until I forget a day later there, till noon or something the next day. So yeah, same thing. A few counties in the States are like that. It's different everywhere. Uh, let's see now. Oh yeah, and Bill VE3IUK is saying being legally blind, he could pre-board the train and head straight for the bar car. Way to go, Bill! That's the way to do it. And yeah, you get your little perks off of that. Good. Take advantage of anything you can, I say. And so good for you there, Bill. All right. Anything else, Rick?
No, that's about it for now. I'm just gonna listen to on this day and get near 9 o'clock. Oh, it's after 9 now. Holy smokes! Give another half hour. I'll probably be lights out. But I'll check in before that.
Okay, very good, Rick. So we'll clear with you, and let's go to North End Richard, VA3 VJC. Richard.
Yeah, I'm still awake, still here, still pushing the old button.
Woo!
Anyway, I want to make a correction to the train ride and other long distance traveling. I did make it across the ocean when I was 5 in a bit, and we landed at Quebec. We took a train ride to Toronto. So I have been on a train. It was just in my very, very minor youth, say 4 or 5 years old. So I guess I should mention it and correct it. Other than that, nothing else. Everything else was true. But I do like to get into a puddle jumper Cessna once in a while. If I can find somebody that wants some airtime and needs a right seat, wouldn't mind doing that before I croak again.
Hey, have you ever seen that movie with The Rock called, what was it called? The Rundown. He's a bounty hunter, and he flies into the Amazon somewhere on puddle jumper there, but he sees duct tape flying in the wind on the wing outside. So my suggestion would be if you see duct tape on an airplane, I'd ask for another plane.
Oh, definitely, definitely. It may be a different story if it was Gorilla Tape, but duct tape, no. Wouldn't trust that to keep an airplane together. I've never seen that movie, but it does sound familiar. I can watch a movie and don't remember the name of it because I usually wake up during it playing or I walk in the middle when it's playing and I never see the credits. So, but I do remember movies like that. Anyway, I'm going to shut my face and let you get through the list and sit back and wait for your on this day. So 7-3s, people, because if I might fall asleep here, I might drift away. But this is the last time I'll be pushing the button tonight. 7-3, people, I'll just be listening.
Okay, Richard, make sure you start the car and just to make sure that it will start after you turn your radio off for the evening there. And yeah, because you'd hate to have a surprise in the morning. All right, so we'll clear with you, Richard. We're going to get to the on this day there pretty soon. Most of the people on the list are through the YouTube check-in, so we'll go through the list here. Next, we've got Victor Alpha 3, November Charlie Alpha. Wade, are you by the radio?
VA3 CJZ, VA3 NCA. Yeah, I'm still here, Chuck, listening along. The last North End Richard there talking about small planes. That reminded me the smallest plane I ever was on was a little bigger than a Cessna. It was like a 12-seater, and it was when we were in years and years and years ago. We were in Belize, and we were just getting a flight over to the island or an island, and as we're boarding, they're filling up the seats at the back up towards the front, and my wife and I were the second last and the third last, and we took the last passenger seats, and there was a guy still there behind us, and the pilot in broken English kind of pointed to the co-pilot seat and said, "Sit there." And when the guy sat down, he said, "Don't touch anything," in broken English, and we're listening to this and taking it all in, and then he reached down between the seats and he picks up a handheld, an HT basically, and to talk to the tower and get clearance to take off. So that was a very interesting little flight. I didn't get up very high. It was just a jump over to the island. But on the way there, he turns to the cabin. There's no PA on this flight. He just turns around and talks to everybody in the cabin. And again, in broken English, he says, the engines, it was a 2-engine prop plane. He said, one of the engines is overheating. He said, it's okay, we'll all be fine, but I'm going to turn it off. And so I just wanted to tell you before I turned it off, which I appreciated that. That was good information to have before he did that. So, yeah, he flipped a couple switches, and one of the props suddenly slam stopped, and you could see it. Not turning, and there was a bit of a jerk in the flight as he did that. But we continued on, and then we landed at our destination, all safe and sound. He was true to his word in that sense. But that's a small airplane flight I won't forget. Yeah. Anyways, that's what reminded me of that with the small plane story there. Back to you, Chuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be turning off the engines very soon, and we will glide the rest of the way. Thank you for flying with us. Oh, that's hilarious, Wade. Yeah, well, hey, they're supposed to fly with one engine down. Of course, it jerked a little bit because the pilot had to make an adjustment in his flying. So, yeah, right on. Well, you probably wouldn't be here today if things didn't work out. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that, Wade. Much appreciated, sir. Anything else before we zip down the line?
No, that's it. I'll listen along and looking forward to on this day as everybody is. Back to you.
Okay, very good. Let's see now. Okay, Michael KI5 SPA has responded about the locking of the doors where the booze is located in the stores. So his do that at midnight. So you know how you pull on the glass door there and you get what you want. Well, they lock those. So yeah, very good. And Bill was saying Black Label was the brand of beer. Okay, very good. Thank you, Bill. And so let's keep going down the list. I think that's it for radio check-ins. We've got Michael is next. SPA. We've got Albert, Sean. Oh, let's go to Debbie. VA3OYL. Debbie, you there?
Yep, I'm here. I was just listening along, and I was surfing the net, and I see the city of Burlington is asking residents to sign up for emergency alert notifications. So if there's ever a gas leak or a flood or whatever, they can alert you. And even people that work in the city or who are in Burlington frequently can sign up for it. It's free, and they'll send you alerts by email or text or phone or voice, I should say. So I think I'll sign up for that since I'm in Burlington a lot, and I guess that's the wave of the future.
I thought everybody's cell phone was connected through the government for those Amber Alerts, and that's probably just done through the OPP, though. So, yeah, okay, that's interesting. I didn't know you could sign up for that. It's a great idea. I think everybody should. Um, because we live in uncertain times. Anything can happen. And so I think it's a good idea. All right, Deb. Well, thanks for letting us know that. I'll look into that for sure. Anything else?
No, I didn't see anything like that for the city of Hamilton. It was just with the city of Burlington. So, but they're close enough to affect us here in Hamilton. Yeah. I'll be listening along. I might have to run down and catch a snack in between, but I should be back for last round.
Okay, sounds good. Have a snack for me there, Deb. Okay, so we'll clear with you, and I'd like to go back to Wade. I forgot to ask Wade if he wouldn't mind calling out for Art, Victor Echo 3, Kilo Charlie India, and see if he's still there with us. Art, or Wade, VA3NCA, are you still there?
Yes, Chuck, yeah, I'm still here listening along. So I'll call out for Art, VE3KCI, VA3NCA. Art, are you there? And can you hear my transmission? VA3CJZ, VA3NCA, nothing heard. I think maybe either I can hear Art and he can't hear me, or maybe he has turned in for the evening. But I didn't get a response there. Back to you, Chuck.
Okay, very good then, Wade. Yeah, I thought he might be gone by now. If we don't get a hold of him by 9 o'clock, he's usually gone. So, okay, well, maybe conditions will be better next week. I do thank you for the relay, Wade. You can go back to the YouTube stream or whatever you were doing. Thanks again. So let's go and say hello to John, see if he's still there. Victor Alpha 3 Tango Hotel X-Ray. John. All right, nothing heard. So we just spoke not too long ago with Larry and KKP. So we'll skip over them and see if there are any other check-ins for this evening's AREG Net. This is Victor Alpha 3, Charlie Juliet Zulu. Please come now.
It was ale.
I'm sorry, what's that, Kevin?
It was Black Horse Ale.
Okay. All right. Yeah, now you got me thinking. All right, very good. Well, thanks for that, Kevin. And so, anything else?
No, and I didn't hear Art on either. He's just up around the corner from me there. But yeah, no, you mentioned the beer bottles with the Black Horse. Yeah, Black Horse Ale started in Newfoundland, and then it was brewed in Quebec, and then it ended up Molson owned it.
I see a signal S5 over here, but I don't hear any audio. Does anyone else hear it?
I thought I'd seen it when I unkeyed.
Is there a station trying to check in or put a comment in? Please come now, VA3CJZ. All right, nothing heard. Well, it is 9:19 p.m. and currently outside the CJZ studio, it's 17.4 degrees. It's supposed to go down a lot cooler than that overnight. So with that, we're going to start on this day in history. And this week is on this day 134. That's how many weeks I've been doing it. And so we'll start with today's famous birthdays. And we'll start with the year 1873. This person is named Sidney Olcott. Born on this day in 1873. He's a Canadian film director, and he was born in Toronto, Ontario. But he directed the movie Ben-Hur. Now, not the one that you and I and everyone else has seen. This is a silent picture done in the late 20s, I think, or 30s. I looked it up. Ben-Hur, silent film. And so I thought I'd mention him because he's from Toronto. He passed away in 1949. Next, we've got Sophia Loren celebrating her 89th birthday today. Happy birthday, Sophia. She was born in 1934 on September 20th. She's an Italian actress, and I can't name all the films she's been in, but definitely a lovely lady. And she was born in Rome, Italy. Next, who remembers that little putty cat, Sylvester? It's his birthday today. You remember Sylvester and Tweety Bird? Well, he came out to the world in 1941 on this day. He's his real name is J. Pussycat Sr. Warner Brothers cartoon character created by Fritz Freeling. He also did Woody Woodpecker, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. Anyways, that was part of the Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies series. And he first debuts in the episode called Notes to You. Notes, Notes to You. So there you go. A little bit of trivia about Sylvester the cat. All right, so next we've got Mick Rogers celebrating a birthday today, born in 1946. He's his real name is Michael Oldroyd, but his stage name is Mick Rogers, and he's a British rock guitarist with the Manfred Mann's Earth Band. Now that's going way back into the 70s, I do believe. He was born in Dovercourt, Essex, England. So happy birthday, Mick. Next, staying with music, 1948 on this day, Chuck Panozzo. He's an American rock bassist with the band Styx, born in Chicago, Illinois. And also in 1948, we've got John Panozzo. So I'm guessing these are twins. He's the drummer with the band Styx, born in Chicago. And it says here he died in 1996. So Chuck and John Panozzo. Next, we've got Guy Lafleur, born on this day, 1951, sadly passing away 2 years ago. Guy Lafleur, of course, is a Canadian Hockey Hall of Fame right wing with the Montreal Canadiens, then New York Rangers, and the Quebec Nordiques. Born in Thurso, Quebec. 5 Stanley Cups, 2 MVPs, and MHL playoff MVP with the Montreal Canadiens. All right, next, going back to music, we've got Jeff Jones, born on this day in 1953. He's a Canadian rock bassist and vocalist for the band Red Rider. Also born in Chicago, Illinois. A lot of musicians born in Chicago. All right. Next, we've got John Tavares celebrating his 33rd birthday today. That's the last person on my list of birthdays. He was born in 1990, which would make him 33. He's a Canadian ice hockey player with the New York Islanders, born in Mississauga, Ontario. And so that is it for famous people born on this day. So, do we have any questions, comments, or check ins? Please come now. This is VA3 CJZ. All right, so let's go to who died today in history. A few people, probably. Okay, this was an interesting one. My first person is Jacob Grimm. Might sound familiar. He passed away in 1863 on this day. He was a German philologist, folklorist, and editor of Grimm's fairy tales. He dies at the age of 78. Now, for those who don't know, Grimm's fairy tales, originally known as the Children's and Household Tales, is a German collection of fairy tales by the Grimm brothers, or Brothers Grimm, Jacob and Wilhelm, first published on the 20th of December in 1812. I think I actually seen a movie about the Brothers Grimm. It was a good one, too. I can't remember the name. All right, well, I normally don't put these types of people in, but we've got one here, quite famous. His name is Edward Worths, passing away, actually killing himself on this day in 1945 at the end of the war. He was a Nazi physician at Auschwitz and committed suicide at the age of 36. Probably didn't want to get executed like many others did. Okay, next we've got Fiorello LaGuardia. Now, LaGuardia may sound familiar to you people. He passed away on this day in 1947, and that's who the airport in New York is named after. He's an American politician and mayor of New York City, and he's a Republican. And he was mayor from 33 to 1945. Dies of pancreatic cancer at the age of 64. Next, we've got Lee Duncan, born on this day in 1960. He is the American owner and trainer of the film dog Rin Tin Tin, and he dies of a heart attack at the age of 67. Next, we've got Glenn Strange, passing away on this day in 1973, September 20th. He's an American actor known to be the bartender, Sam the bartender in the series Gunsmoke, and he dies at the age of 74. I don't know why I put him in there, just thought it was cool because I grew up watching Gunsmoke and Bonanza. Next, we've got Jim Croce, passing away in 1973 at the age of 30. He is an American singer-songwriter, best known for songs like Time in a Bottle and Bad, Bad Leroy Brown. He died in a plane crash, again, at the age of 30. All right, next we've got 1995, September 20th, Walter Haas Jr. He's an American businessman and sports team owner, and he was the owner of the Levi Strauss and Company and owned the Oakland A's. Dies of a prostate cancer at the age of 79. Next, we go to the year 2000. A gentleman by the name of German Titov, Russian cosmonaut, and he is the fourth person in space. He dies at the age of 65. That was in 2000. All right, last but not least, we've got Leonard Skinner, passing away on this day in 2010. He is an American high school gym teacher and is the namesake of the band Lynyrd Skynyrd. He passes away at the age of 77. So I guess the band members, let's see now. A gym teacher at Robert E. Lee High School in Jacksonville, Florida, Lynyrd Skynyrd was a no-nonsense, flat-topped basketball coach whose name will forever be linked to the iconic rock band Lynyrd Skynyrd. So there you go. Now you have the history on where that band got their name from. It was from their basketball coach. And that's it for people passing away on this day in history. Do we have any questions, comments, or check-ins for this evening's AREG net? Please come now. This is VA3CJZ.
VE3MQ.
VE3MQ. Tom, come on in. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay, Chuck. Just decided to throw the handheld on scan, and then I come across the net. Go ahead.
Oh, very good. Very good. Well, thanks for joining us, Tom. We are here every week, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And we also stream the net live on YouTube, so you can actually go to YouTube, put my call in there, and you can play it back wherever you like, or you can listen along until the end of the net if you like also. Being as this is a simplex net, not everyone can hear everyone else. And so this is a little bit of extra help if you wish. Got any news or announcements you'd like to make there, Tom?
Nope, not at all. Still healing away with my foot, so other than that, nothing going on.
So, if I remember correctly, I haven't talked to you about this, but I've heard that you stepped on something.
Yeah, 2x4 that had 3 rusty screws in it. Went through my shoe, went through my foot. Ended up going the next day for tetanus shot and antibiotics. Then ended up out at Stony Creek at the urgent care for upping my antibiotics. Went and see my family doctor, and he upped the antibiotic. Then ended up in the hospital for a week, and was told if I hadn't gone to the hospital when I did, I would have lost my foot. So needless to say, they had the pick in me with IV to the heart for a week in the hospital, a week at home, and now they got some other contraption on the hole where it beat in my foot with this little machine sucking out all the garbage out of the hole.
Wow. Well, I think you timed out there, Tom.
That's what was the last part you heard?
Sucking all the pus out of your foot.
Yeah, so this machine cost $800 to $1,000 for this little machine, which they only use for a week and throw it in the garbage.
Oh, geez. I can't even reuse the machine. That's crazy. Oh, there's your tax dollars hard at work. Yeah, being diabetic, Tom, you gotta be careful with your feet, and I'm glad you're getting some good treatment for it. Are things getting better?
Oh yeah, they're getting better, and good thing Indian Affairs pays for it all.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, yeah. So make sure you listen to what they tell you to do, and I'm glad things are getting better. I know every 3 months when I speak with my diabetic nurse, she's always asking me, "Are you looking after your feet and your toenails and everything?" And I'm like, yes. So, because I have that neuropathy on the bottom of my feet, I've lost some sensation. You know, when they put the needle up to your feet and you don't feel it.
Mine starts at my hip. It goes right down to my feet, including my legs and my feet with the neuropathy. I was on hydromorphine, but I've told them enough with the narcotics. Figure something else out. 12 years on the same narcotic is not doing me good.
Oh yeah. They had me on hydromorphone, I think it was called, and I got rid of that. And then for years I was on T3s, eating them like candy. Got rid of that, and so now I use the green medicine, if you know what I mean. No narcotics.
Yeah, okay, I'm going back to my program. 7:30 for now, but I'll be listening along. The 3MQ.
All right, Tom. Well, thanks for checking in, my friend. Glad to hear you're on the mend, and hope you're back on your feet soon. Take care. Say hello to the missus for me. And so we'll clear with VE3MQ and see if we have any other check ins for tonight's Amateur Radio Exchange Group, AREG. This is VA3CJZ. Anyone, anywhere, please come now. Okay, so let's carry on with On This Day, and we'll go to historical events now. Let's start off with Magellan. You've heard of the Magellan GPS units they had out there? Well, this is the Magellan expedition on this day in 1519, Spanish expedition. Now, Magellan was Portuguese. He was born in Portugal, but he worked for the Spanish Navy, I think. So in 1519, Spanish expedition led by Portuguese navigator Ferdinand Magellan sets off on the first successful circumnavigation of the globe, but Magellan is killed en route. He's killed when he has a skirmish with the Filipinos, indigenous people in the Philippines, which at that time was an island belonging to Japan. And so, story is he was shot in the leg with a poison arrow during a skirmish, and I think he was overtaken by the peoples and killed. Okay, so let's go to the year 1814 now. On this day, the Star Spangled Banner is published as a song, lyrics by Francis Scott Key, and the tune was by John Stafford Smith. So 1814, when the Star Spangled Banner comes out. Let's jump to 1833. On this day, Charles Darwin arrives in Buenos Aires after traveling through the Argentine interior with guachos. Now, guachos are actually Spanish cowboys. The Mexican called them guachos. That's a cowboy. 1839. The year is 1839. On this day, the first railroad in the Netherlands opens, and that was from Amsterdam to Haarlem. Now, Haarlem is spelt with two A's. I'm sure it's pronounced differently, but I'm not going to attempt it. First railroad. Next, let's jump to 1850. On this day, the slave trade is abolished in D.C., Washington, D.C., but slavery is allowed to continue. Now, that just means that you could keep your slaves, but trading, like getting them from Africa or Ireland or anywhere in the world, was forbidden. So you could keep who you had. And so that's when they started using slaves to impregnate other slaves and create their workforce or continue their workforce that way. Certain slaves were designated as mandingos, I guess you want to call them. I don't know. All right, so let's jump from 1850 to 1876. The Ottawa Football Club is formed on this day in 1876. Next year, in 1877, the Chase National Bank opens in New York City and later merges into Chase Manhattan. I'm sure you've all heard of that name. All right, let's go to 1893. On this day, the first gasoline-powered car debuts in Springfield, Massachusetts. I did not know that. All right, well, next, let's go to the Wright brothers fly a Circle. That's in 1904. Orville and Wilbur Wright fly a Circle in their Flyer 2. Now, their first flight, now was in December 17th, 1903 at Kitty Hawk, and they only flew a couple of hundred feet. But on this day in 1904 is when they managed to fly in a circle off the ground. Okay, next we've got 1918. We have the Royal Dutch Blast Furnace and Steel Factory opens in Hague, the Netherlands. 1922 is our next date. St. Louis Cardinals future baseball Hall of Fame infielder Roger Hornsby ends a hitting streak of 33 games in a row. So if I'm not mistaken, Rogers Hornsby had the most expensive baseball card ever. Because back then they came in cigarette packs. They came in a tin. And I think Wayne Gretzky and David Copperfield each had one. I'm not 100% sure if that was the guy, but yep, the old baseball cards came in a tin back when cigarettes were in a tin. Okay, next we have an assassination attempt in 1926 on this date. Bugs Moran, a mafia guy, attempts to assassinate Al Capone in a drive-by shooting, but fails. They don't say what happened to him after, if he got killed by Capone, but assassination attempt to Capone fails. All right, so now we're going to jump up to 1951 on this day is the first North Pole jet crossing. So it wasn't the first time a plane flew over the pole, but it's the first time a jet flew over the pole, 1951. I did look it up, and there are conflicting dates, but this is what I have. Okay, this is for all you computer nerds out there. Wade, Larry. Today, in 1954, was the first Fortran computer program being run. Now, the Fortran computer program was these rectangular cards that you either punched a hole in or colored in with, not colored, but with a pencil, darkened up these little squares, and then you put it through a machine, and it would read what you are trying to tell it. I actually studied that in high school, in grade 9 or 10. So, 1954. All right, 1963 on this day, JFK, that's John F. Kennedy, proposes a joint U.S.-Soviet voyage to the moon. I'm guessing that didn't go over, and the Americans got there, and the Russians have been trying to put people on there for quite a long time. As a matter of fact, they just crashed a lander a few weeks ago on the moon, and then India landed theirs. Ouch. All right. Let's jump to 1967 now. The British liner Queen Elizabeth II is launched at Clydebank, Scotland. Now, the Queen Elizabeth II was an ocean liner and cruise ship for the rich hoity-toity folks. All right, next we have a baseball record. 1968, Mickey Mantle hits his final career homer, and that is number 536 home runs for Mickey Mantle, and that's his last time he hits a homer. On this day, September 20th, 1969, John Lennon privately announces to Paul and Ringo, George was not there, that he is leaving the Beatles at a London business meeting. So today in history is when John Lennon quit, I would say. All right. Who remembers the song Sugar, Sugar by the Archies? Well, on this day in 1969, virtual cartoon band Archies, because you've never seen them perform, their single, Sugar, Sugar, hits #1 on the charts. I used to sing along with it all the time, still do. Very catchy tune. All right, let's jump to 1970. Jim Morrison is found guilty of open profanity and indecent exposure after allegedly exposing himself at a concert in Miami in 1969. That was the year previous. So I think he pulled his pants down and, was indecently exposing himself, as well as cussing. So open profanity and indecent exposure, guilty. Speaking of musicians, in 1972, September 20th, police find cannabis growing on Paul and Linda McCartney's farm. Uh-oh. All right, here's some sports history probably most of you remember. In 1973, Billie Jean King beats Bobby Riggs in a Battle of the Sexes tennis match. I was so rooting for Bobby Riggs. All right, 1973, Willie Mays announces retirement at the end of the 1973 season. Let's jump to 1975. On this day, David Bowie's Fame single goes to number one for 2 weeks. That's an excellent song. I love it. Staying with music, let's go to 1980. The Blizzard of Oz, the debut solo album by English rock musician Ozzy Osbourne, is released in the United Kingdom. That's on this day, 1980. So let's go to 1984. On this day, The Cosby Show premieres on NBC TV, starring you know who and Felicia Rashad. And in 1985, on September 20th, Walt Disney World's 200 millionth guest goes through the gates. Wow. I think they're up to 500 million or more now. All right. 1987, on this day, Chicago running back Walter Payton scores his NFL record 107th rushing touchdown in the Bears' 20-3 victory over Tampa Bay. Walter Payton is a Hall of Famer, I do believe. All right, so let's jump to 1988 now. American diver Greg Louganis wins the 3-meter springboard gold medal at the Seoul Olympics after famously hitting his head on the board the previous day. I remember that like it was yesterday. I watched it. He did some kind of gainer and his head hit right off the board. Ouch. I feel bad for him. But he won gold the next day. The judges probably felt sorry for him. That's probably like that guy on Wide World of Sports who used to wipe out on the ski jump there every weekend. Sticking with sports history, we've got 1988, the Boston Red Sox. Wade Boggs is the first player to get 200 hits for 6 consecutive seasons. And then in 1989, we've got U.S. Air overshoots the runway at LaGuardia Airport in New York City, and 2 people die. All right, now I'm going to have to look this next one up, because I never heard about this. In the year 2000, on September 20th, the British MI6 Secret Intelligence Service building is attacked by a Russian-built Mark 22 anti-tank missile. Anybody else ever hear that? I didn't. All right, so we jump from 2000 to the year 2011. That's when the United States ends its don't ask, don't tell policy, allowing gay men and women to serve openly for the first time. Jumping to 2013 now, on this day, Alex Rodriguez sets new Major League Baseball record with 24 Grand Slam home runs for the New York Yankees. Now, a Grand Slam, that's awesome. That's you hitting a home run with someone on first, second, and third. For those of you who don't know what a Grand Slam is, that's a great achievement. All right, here's a pretty cool one here. In 2013, Grand Theft Auto becomes the fastest entertainment product to reach 1 billion in sales. It's probably a lot more now. That was in 2013. All right, 3 to go. 2018, on this day, overloaded ferry capsizes on Lake Victoria, Tanzania, killing at least 207, with one man surviving in an airlock for 2 days. So when it capsized, this gentleman was able to find an air pocket and was able to live in there for 2 days until he was discovered. Excellent. All right. Well, I wanted to end this one. I think I will. I'll save it for last. So the second last one here, we've got the year 2019. Actually, they're both from the year 2019. The Mosaic expedition, the greatest Arctic research expedition ever, sets sail from Norway and aims to stay trapped in ice for a year to study climate change. All right, so, it isn't my last one. There's another one. Let's go to the Batman one. 2019 is Batman Day on this day, September 20th, because it's the 80th anniversary of the first Batman comic. I probably read that comic. I wish I had it today. So 29. So 4 years later, today would be the 84th anniversary of the first Batman comic. There you go. Okay, so our last one here, we have a world record, and that's in the year 2021. The first edition, now this is a book, first edition of Mary Shelley's 1818 novel Frankenstein. Yes, it was a woman who wrote the story Frankenstein, and it sells for $1.17 million, setting new world record for a printed work by a woman. Congratulations, Mary Shelley, but she's probably not around anymore. All right, well, that's it for on this day in history. Do we have any questions, comments, or check-ins for this evening's Amateur Radio Exchange Group? This is VA3CJZ. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed on this day in history as much as I did researching it and retelling them back to you, our listeners. Okay, so let's go to the top of the list and see who's left to say 7-3. This is the 7-3 round. And let's go to Rick, downtown Rick, VA3AXJ.
Yep, hung in there, Jeff. Hung in there for us tonight.
Boy.
That was interesting. I enjoyed that. Not much more to say there. I'm just going to probably shut the lights down and close my eyes and see what kind of mischief I can get into tomorrow. Hope it's not too bad, but anyhow. Yeah, okay, 7-3 to Chuck here and everybody on board. VA3XJ, welcome to BQRT.
Okay, thanks, Rick. Much appreciated you hanging around. And you take care, my friend. You can call us on this frequency anytime if we're listening. Okay, so we'll clear with you. And I see Wade here punched a message on YouTube. Speaking of punching, he's got some old punch cards from the Fortran system from work that he uses for scribbling notes on. He's going to put a pic on the Discord channel there. So very good. Yeah, I remember them quite clearly. Okay, so we'll clear with Rick and I think Richard. Let's see if he's still listening. VA3VJC, North End. Richard, are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm still here. I was in and out of Slumberland, talking to somebody, and then a noisy car went by and woke me up. Yeah, it's so peaceful out here. All we need now is forest, 2 feet of snow, and a campfire.
Yeah. So you nodded off in the car. Yeah, I know you. You get quite comfortable in there. All right, Richard. Well, thanks for coming back to me. I know last time you said you weren't going to, but here you are, and thank you. I do appreciate it. You have a great rest of the evening and a good night's sleep there, my friend. Thanks again. Take care of that leg.
Yeah, that's what I'm planning to do. I'm going to lock up the four-wheeler, and crawl back in the house, check out the computer, maybe play some pool online, naturally. Well, computer pool.
Yep,
And
I love that.
see what I can do in the kitchen. Maybe check out that long, black, slender roll of cable I've got, and give it one more check for nicks and cuts, and then I'm just gonna curl it back up and get rid of it. We've discussed it, you know. It's I'm just rambling on here. Sorry for that, boys and girls and other human type creatures. But I think I should just let the button go and just crawl back in the house and do what I said I was going to do. 7-3 people, and I'm going to get out of here. VA3, VJC will be off and clear.
Okay, Richard, that reminds me. Richard has some RG405 he'd like to get rid of and sell it for, way less than what he's paid for it. He said he's got at least 100 feet, if not a little bit more, maybe 125. And so if you want to contact Richard, I think go to QRZ and you could probably find his email address there and get in touch with Richard that way. And like I mentioned, it's RG405. It's a tinned coax. And so it's perfectly fine to use. So any new hams or anybody that can maybe make use of it, get a hold of Richard. And that's VA3 Victor Juliet Charlie, VA3 VJC. And so do I got that right there, Richard? Is your email on QRZ?
Well, email is correct. I got enough SB303 at bell.net. But correction on the cable type and model number. It's RG8, the thick stuff, and it's 405 inch in diameter. It's the big, thick stuff, and it's
That's
like I
58.
say, it's it was used for maybe a couple of months outside, and I just brought it in because I got rid of the antenna. I scrapped it for parts, but it's the RG8 bought at Parkdale Avenue.
Okay. Well, I thought the RG8 was the thin stuff because I've got the RG8X, and that's the thin, small stuff, I should say, small diameter. And the RG58 is the bigger.
No, opposite. The 58 is a quarter inch, and the RG8 is the, I guess you would call it a 7/16, just under a half inch, a decimal 405 of an inch in diameter.
Okay, then. Well, there you go. You heard it from the horse's mouth. So anyone interested, just shoot off an email to Richard there and make a deal. Okay, Richard, anything else, sir?
No, that's it. I'm trying to keep my brain together here. And my leg's going a little bit weird, so I'm going to get off the seating position and lay down and maybe excuse me, a little short of breath. Accelerate the healing process.
Okay, very good then, Richard. Thanks for sticking around, my friend. Have a great rest of the evening. We'll chat soon. And so we'll clear with VA3 VJC. Next, we've got Wade, VA3 November Charlie Alpha. Are you by the radio at this time, Wade? 7-3 round.
VA3 CJZ, VA3 NCA. Yeah, still here for the 73 round. Another great net. Thanks for an enjoyable Wednesday. About that this day in history, I didn't use it personally, but actually in a very, very early grade school course, we punched cards for a program. I didn't use it in my work, but when we were renovating the computer rooms back in 2008, we came across the box of them unpunched cards from the days when they did use them. So as I said on that little post there, they make great bookmarks to mark your place in a book, and the back is nice and clear for writing, scribbling down notes that you would have otherwise put in the margins. So yeah, I still have a small stack of them left, and they make great bookmarks with for note keeping. So a little bit of nostalgia and geek cred, I suppose, when I use one in a meeting or whatever. Anyways, 73. Thanks as usual. It's always a great way to spend an evening, a Wednesday evening. Back to you, Chuck. Thanks. The A3NCA.
Okay, very good. Wow, my batteries are dying already in my earbuds here, so we're gonna have to wrap it up soon. Okay, Wade. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, for me, by the way, when I used them was 1974, and no, it wasn't on this day. Thanks, Wade. Much appreciated. Thanks for your support. So next, we've got KI5SPA, Michael in Arkansas. Thanks for checking in on YouTube, sir. Much appreciated. Have a great rest of the evening. And then we have Albert. He's probably sleeping. Oh, he's on holidays, I think. VE3 Alpha Papa Tango. Thanks for checking in on YouTube as well, Albert. Thank you. Next, we've got VE3 FNI. Checked in on both on the radio and through YouTube. Thank you, Sean. Next, let's go to Deb, VA3OYL.
Yes, I'm still here. That coax, the RG8, the thicker stuff is 8U, and the 8X is the thinner stuff. So that's what's going on there. Good net. Thanks for all the education on this day and so forth. And I'll say 7-3 to all, and have a good week. VA3OYL.
Okay, Deb, thanks a bunch. You take care. Have a great rest of the week. And happy DXing and photo hunting. Okay, so let's go to VA3 Tango Hotel X-Ray. John, you still with us? All right, how about Larry, VE3 LBI?
Yep, still here, Chuck. Just listen along. All right, thanks for doing it, and we'll probably talk to you maybe sometime tomorrow. All right, everybody take care. VE3LBI 7-3.
All right, 7-3, Larry. How about VE3 KKP? Are you still there?
Absolutely.
All right, any last famous words from KKP?
No, that's no, great net. Yeah, we'll do it all again next week. 7-3. Don't forget the garbage.
That's right. I will have to break away soon and go take care of the garbage collection. Thanks, Kevin. Much appreciated, my friend. All right, finally, we've got Tom, VE3MQ. Are you still there? 7-3 round. All right, well, that's it. This is week 1,566 weeks that AREG has been on the air, and it's been a pleasure to do it once again on this Wednesday. And I really appreciate all of you checking in, either through YouTube or through the radio. And without you, the net would be pretty boring. So thank you very much. I hope you were entertained a little bit, and I really enjoyed your company here on the radio, as well as on the computer, of course. And so I'd like to say 7-3 to all. Take care. Have a great rest of the week. And I look forward to hearing you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. That's 8 p.m. here on 146.430. 7-3 all. Good night.